No, no,
Mistake.
no. What I'm saying is they did not think all of these things that was going on in the black community. They did not know it was as bad as it was. And now you're talking to me, and now it's opening their eyes.
Mistaken. I want to throw something else out there. I think a lot of men are attracted to the women who are not really the women who want them, one, and they're not going after the right women, and I don't think they really know who they attract. That's I think that's a big piece of it. It's like they're chasing, all these men are chasing after women who, I don't know how to say it, but they're not competitive with those women.
Well,
So
let me ask you this. I'll ask you, Maroon. Do you think black men, and the only reason I'm saying black men is because we're talking about black women and black men,
yeah,
are trying to be competitive in terms of when you're comparing black men to other men? Are they trying to compete or are they settling?
trying to compete in terms of what?
In all areas, in economics and education and marriage and
No,
family and like in any of the areas.
no. Like I think that I don't think that's a good point. It's like I don't think black men are looking at, Caesar tried to raise it and he said, why are Hispanic men getting more married? We need to talk to those men and figure out why are they more marriage minded. We need to talk to white men and figure out why are they more marriage minded. We need to talk amongst ourselves as men and figure out why are we not not as marriage minded just in general.
Why
Um,
don't you talk to the mothers that are raising the kids by themselves? Why don't
no,
you do that?
no, because there's two components in play. That's a component. Are those mothers raising
That's the
those?
main component,
No, no, no,
though.
no, 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 no. Let me finish. There's also the male community that regardless of whether those single mothers raise those children, the values of those single mothers raise their sons, those sons are going to become friends with other young black men and adolescent and adult black men. And the culture around surrounding adult black men is not marriage minded. That's the problem. That's the
And
problem.
I don't know if you heard me before. I'm going to apologize if I interrupt you. It's just because I don't have I don't it's running on and on, so I don't see when people really stop.
Okay. But yeah, I mean, we need. So I think really the solution is surrounded around people like me and you, Caesar. Like we can't look to our mothers to be the only people that make us value marriage. We as men have to value that too. Those mothers did not tell them to become baby daddies. I'll tell you that right now. Those men decided that on their own, in my opinion.
Again, I think that goes back to the culture of what I'm saying. The likelihood of you becoming a baby mama or making a baby mama is based on the fact that if you were raised by a baby mama, right?
Correct.
So it is all about the environment. So I know for me, I was raised in a household where both of my parents were married. The likelihood of me marrying increases just by being in that environment. So my parents had 4 kids. All 4 of us got married. All 4 of us got married in our 20s, right? Early marriages. Only one of us had a divorce, but even the one sibling that got divorced got remarried. So and
That's
then when
good.
I look at theirs, my grandparents were married. My great grandparent, I knew my great grandparents, they were married. You know what I'm saying? So when you have generations of that's the expectation around what is supposed to be, that's what happens. But the opposite is true is that when you are raised in an environment where there's a single led household, then the likelihood of the next generation of being a single led household increases. And so when we start looking at who's to blame and we say we blame the mamas for being single baby mama, that does nothing to stop the cycle.
Yeah, that's what I was trying
What
to get
helps
to.
stop the cycle, honestly, is even if that woman is a single woman that is a leading the household, having a male community in some shape, form, or fashion, like through coaching or through the church or through something like that, to have a male figure increases the likelihood of changing the dynamic of them being another baby daddy or baby mama, is them being exposed to a man who is married and seeing how that works. But we don't have a lot of men in the communities that would benefit the most from seeing married couples. They're not in those communities in the same way in other communities, even within our community, because it becomes a socioeconomic thing. So typically college people with, higher degree earners or whatever, they typically get married and their marriages last longer. But when they make money, they're not staying in the hood. They're moving out of the hood and into other areas because they want a different environment for their children. So now that removes that visual resource that other people in that community could see to aspire to have. So I think that's part of our problem.
Yeah, we have to break,
What
Caesar. We have to break generational curses, and to do that, we need to be able to see beyond ourselves and say, hey, it's not just about me. It's about setting the next generation up better than me. Even if you didn't
you
see
need
it.
the women to help you do that though.
In
If
what
the
way?
if let's say that you say I'm going to have dick discipline. I'm only going to have sex with just two women out my whole life.
Mhm.
But if other women around you is just having sex and then they get pregnant, like it doesn't matter what you do, it matters what the women do.
But you're not the one that created the baby, so that wouldn't impact you.
Yeah, the other thing to say, Caesar, is
But you talked about the community.
Caesar, if we run with that scenario, if you decide to just, save yourself for marriage, or you've only been intimate with two women, there are plenty of Black women that have done the same. They're not all doing what you're trying to say. They're not all sleeping with everybody. They're not all sleeping with like 50 people and 150 people. There's plenty of Black women who are highly educated,
But the majority are though.
The majority of what? Do you
They're having
realize that when
sex.
they give the
They're having
stat,
sex.
and what's wrong with that?
yeah, do and
What, what's
also
what's
looking
wrong with
at,
it is because about 70% are single mothers, are having a child.
but do you
You're what
understand that even in that group of single mothers,